Captain Park Do-yeon stood at the window of Sentinel Prime and looked at Earth below. The blue planet was beautiful today. White clouds moved slowly over the oceans. He had been in space for 3 years now, protecting his home from dangers that never came. Until today, the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Do-yeon ran to the command center where his crew was already working fast. "Sir, we have unknown contacts," said his officer. "Many of them, coming from beyond Mars." Do-yeon looked at the screen. His blood went cold. And there were hundreds of ships. No, thousands. They were huge, shaped like black triangles, and they were coming fast. "Contact Earth Command," he ordered. Now, before they could send the message, the first lunar colony exploded. Do-yeon watched in horror as the flash lit up the darkness. Then the second colony. Then the third. Thousands of people died in seconds. The alien ships did not slow down. They did not try to communicate. They just destroyed. On Earth in Seoul, Dr. Kim Soo-min was working late at the Science Institute. She was studying old signals from space when her computer went crazy. Data was flooding in. She looked at the readings and her hands started shaking. "This is not possible," she whispered. She called her colleague. "Turn on the news. Turn it on now." Every channel showed the same thing. Alien ships were entering Earth's orbit. The moon colonies were gone. The president was speaking, but his words were meaningless. Everyone could see the truth. Earth was under attack. At the Global Defense Coalition headquarters, Admiral Yoon Tae-woo watched the screens with a calm face. Inside, his heart was racing. He had prepared for this moment his entire life. He never really believed it would come. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission," said his communication officer. "Play it." The alien voice was cold and mechanical. It spoke in perfect Korean, perfect English, perfect every language at once. The message was simple: submit or be harvested. That was all. No explanation. No demands. Just submit or be harvested. Admiral Tae-woo stood straight. "Send all defense stations to combat positions. Launch everything we have." The battle for Earth had begun. Captain Do-yeon's station was one of the first to fire. The weapons were the best humanity had ever made. Nuclear missiles, plasma cannons, railguns that could crack asteroids. They hit the alien ships and did nothing. The black triangles had shields that absorbed everything, but Do-yeon did not stop. He kept firing. He kept fighting. Because that was what humans did. "Sir, their weapons are charging," said his officer. "They are targeting us." "Keep firing," said Do-yeon. "And send all our scan data to Earth. They need to find a weakness." The alien beam hit Sentinel Prime. The station shook like a toy. Walls broke. People screamed. Do-yeon held onto his chair and watched his crew die around him. "Data transmission at 50%, said the computer. Another hit. The station started breaking apart. Fire was everywhere. Do-yeon could not breathe. 70%. He crawled to the console. His legs were broken. He did not care. He had to complete the transmission. 90%. The final beam came. Do-yeon pressed the send button. At the same moment, the station exploded. His last thought was of his daughter on Earth. He hoped she would. Live. Dr. Soo-min received the data from Sentinel Prime. She worked through the night, studying every number, every reading. By morning, she understood something terrible. She went to Admiral Tae-woo's bunker. Her face was pale. "Admiral, I have analyzed the alien technology," she said. "I also found something in their transmission signal. Hidden data. They have done this before." "Done what before?" "Attacked planets. Harvested species." She put a tablet on his desk. 17 civilizations. They have destroyed 17 civilizations before us. None of them survived. Not one person. Not one city. Nothing. Admiral Tae-woo looked at the data. He saw images of dead worlds, burned cities, empty planets. This was not a war. This was an extinction. "How long?" he asked. "Based on their pattern? They will have Earth completely controlled in 2 weeks. Then the harvesting begins. The admiral was quiet for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was hard as iron. Then we have 2 weeks to do what 17 civilizations could not. On the first day, Earth lost 40% of its orbital defenses. The alien ships were too strong, too fast, too many. Every attack failed. Every weapon was useless. On the second day, the aliens destroyed the Mars communication relay. Earth's colonies were now cut off. Millions of humans on Mars, on asteroids, on stations throughout the solar system. They were alone. On the third day, Admiral Taiwu made a decision that shocked everyone. He ordered a full retreat. All surviving ships were to return to Earth. All ground forces were to stand down. It looked like surrender. The world was angry. People protested. Leaders demanded explanation. But Taiwu said nothing. He just watched the aliens come closer. Dr. Suman understood. She met him in his bunker that night. "You are not surrendering," she said. "No, you are making them confident. Making them think we are weak." "Yes, and then?" Admiral Taiwu looked at her with tired eyes. "The 17 civilizations that died? They all did the same thing. They fought with honor. They followed the rules of war. They treated the aliens like reasonable enemies." He shook his head slowly. "We will not make that mistake. These things want to harvest us like animals. So we will show them what happens when animals bite back." Outside, the alien ships filled the sky. They were dark and huge and terrible. They thought the war was already over. They thought humans were like all the others, weak, broken, ready to die. They were wrong. In secret bunkers around the world, scientists studied the data from Sentinel Prime. Engineers built new weapons. Soldiers prepared for a different kind of war. Not a war of honor? Not a war of rules? A war of survival. Captain Park Do-yeon was dead. His station was gone. But his final transmission had given humanity something precious. Hope. The aliens had made a mistake. They had attacked Earth. They had killed humans. They had threatened to harvest the entire species. Now they would learn why that was the worst decision they ever made. The first strike was over. The real war was about to begin. 3 months had passed since the invasion. The world was broken. Alien ships floated over every major city like dark clouds. Their soldiers walked the streets, tall, gray, cold. They called themselves the Velthary. And they owned Earth now. Or so they believed. Lieutenant Choi. Haijin crawled through the tunnel beneath Seoul. It was dark and wet and smelled terrible. She did not care. This tunnel connected her resistance cell to the weapons factory. It was the most important path in the city. She reached the factory and climbed up through the floor. Inside, 50 people were working. Some were soldiers. Some were engineers. Some were teachers and doctors and students. Everyone who still wanted to fight. "Lieutenant," said Engineer Baek Jin-ho. He was covered in grease and looked like he had not slept in days. "I have something to show you." He led her to a table where a strange device sat. It looked like a gun, but different, ugly, rough. "What is this?" she asked. "This is the answer," he said. His eyes were bright with excitement. "The Velthary shields absorb energy. Plasma, nuclear, electrical. Everything we throw at them just makes them stronger." He picked up the ugly gun. "So I stopped throwing energy. This fires a solid projectile. Tungsten core. Very fast. Very simple. Will it work?" Junho smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Let me show you." They went to the testing room where a piece of Velthary armor was mounted on the wall. Junho aimed the gun and fired. The sound was loud and sharp. The tungsten rod went through the armor like paper. Haijin stared at the hole. "They have no defense against this?" "No, they are too advanced. They forgot about simple weapons, bullets, arrows, rocks." He laughed. "We can kill them with technology from hundreds of years ago." For the first time in 3 months, Haijin felt hope. In another part of the city, Private Han Mare walked with her head down. She wore simple clothes and carried a basket of food. She looked like a servant. That was the point. The Velthary had a system. Humans who cooperated got food and shelter. Humans who resisted got harvested. Mireille pretended to cooperate. She served food to Velthary soldiers. She cleaned their buildings. She smiled and bowed and acted like a good little human dot, and every night she reported everything she saw and heard to the resistance. Today she was serving in the command building. A high-ranking Velthary officer was meeting with others. Mireille poured their drinks and kept her eyes down. But her ears were open. "The harvesting ships arrive next month," said the officer. "We will begin with the Asian sector. Resistance?" asked another. "Minor, these humans are like all the others. They fought for a few days, then broke. They have no spirit." Mireille's hands shook. She almost dropped the pitcher, but she controlled herself. She finished serving and left quietly. That night she told Haijin everything. "1 month," said Haijin. "We have 1 month before they start taking people." "Then we attack now," said Mireille. "We use Jinho's weapons. We hit them hard, not yet." Haijin looked at the map on the wall. "We need to coordinate. Seoul alone cannot win this war. We need everyone. Every city, every country. One big attack all at the same time." She sent a message through the underground network. It reached bunkers in Tokyo, Beijing, Mumbai, Berlin, New York, and 100 other cities. It reached Admiral Taiwo in his hidden base beneath the mountains. The message was simple. 1 month. 1 attack. "Everything we have." Admiral Taiwo read the message and nodded. The pieces were coming together, but he needed more information. He needed to understand the enemy. The resistance had captured a Velthary commander 2 weeks ago. He was being held in a deep cell, guarded day and night. Taiwo went to see him. The Velthary sat in the corner. He was tall, with gray skin and black eyes. He looked at Taiwo with something like amusement. "You come to question me again," said the Velthary. His Korean was perfect. They had learned all human languages in days. "I come to understand you," said Taiwo. "You have conquered 17 civilizations. You are clearly powerful. Why? Why do you harvest other species?" The Velthary tilted his head. "Why do you harvest animals?" "For food, for resources, for sport." He made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You are animals to us?" "Nothing more." "The other civilizations, did they fight back?" "Of course. They all fight at first. They use their weapons, their ships, their soldiers. They lose, they surrender. They die." The Velthary leaned forward. "It is always the same. You are no different." Taiwo smiled. It surprised the Velthary. "You are wrong," said Taiwo. "We are very different." "How?" "The others surrendered when they lost the first battle. They saw your power and gave up hope." Taiwo's voice was hard. "We lost the first battle. We lost the second. We lost our moon, our stations, our orbital fleet. And we are still here. We are still fighting. Do you know why?" The Velthary did not answer. "Because we do not care about winning," said Taiwo. "We care about hurting you. We care about making you pay for every person you killed, every city you burned, every child you took." He stood up. "You think this war is over? It has not even started." He left the cell. Behind him, for the first time, the Velthary commander felt something strange. Something his species had not felt in 10,000 years. Fear. The resistance grew every day. Junho's weapons were copied and sent to every cell. Simple guns, simple bullets, simple death for the VLT Hari. The first real attack came in Berlin. 50 resistance fighters hit a Velthary patrol. They killed 20 aliens in 10 minutes. Then they disappeared into the tunnels. The Velthary were confused. Their shields did nothing. Their armor broke. They called for support, but by the time it arrived, the humans were gone. Then an attack in Mumbai. Then Tokyo, then Cairo, then everywhere. The Velthary responded with force. They burned buildings. They killed civilians. They thought fear would stop the resistance. It made it stronger. Every death created 10 new fighters. Every burned building created 100. The humans were not afraid of dying. They were afraid of not fighting. Hyjin led the soul attack herself. They hit the Velthari food supply center. They destroyed enough supplies to feed an army for a month. Then they escaped through the tunnels. In her hideout, she found Myray waiting. "The Velthari are angry," said Myray. "They are increasing patrols, arresting anyone they suspect." "Good," said Hyjin. "Angry enemies make mistakes. There is something else." Myray looked worried. "I heard them talking about reinforcements. They sent a message to their homeworld. More ships are coming." Hyjin felt cold. More ships. More soldiers. How could they fight that? Then she remembered something. Dr. Suman and her team were working on the Velthari communication technology. If they could understand it, maybe they could use it. She sent a message to Admiral Taiwu. He responded within the hour. "We already intercepted the message," he wrote. "We know reinforcements are coming. We also know something else. We know where their homeworld is." Hyjin read the message 3 times. The Velthari homeworld. The place where all of this began? "What do we do with this information?" She wrote back. The Admiral's response was short. "First we free Earth, then we visit them." In the tunnels and bunkers and hidden places of Earth, humans prepared for the next phase. They had weapons now. They had hope. They had anger. The Velthari had started this war thinking humans were animals. They were about to learn that animals had teeth. 6 months after the invasion, the war changed. Humanity stopped hiding. Humanity started hunting. General Shin Yunji stood in her underground command center and looked at the map of Asia. Red dots showed Velthari positions. Green dots showed resistance forces. 6 months ago, the map was almost all red. Now it was half green. "Status report," she said. "All units are in position," said her officer. "We are ready for Operation Awakening." Yunji nodded. This was the moment. Every resistance cell on Earth would attack at the same time. Every Velthari power station, communication tower, and supply depot, one massive strike. "Send the signal," she said. The signal went out. And the world exploded. In Seoul, Lieutenant Hyjin led her fighters against the main power node. They came from the tunnels like ghosts. Their tungsten weapons cut through the Velthari guards in seconds. "Plant the charges," Hyjin ordered. They worked fast. The Velthari would send reinforcements soon. But Hyjin had planned for that too. When the alien dropships arrived, hidden fighters hit them with rockets. Simple rockets, metal and explosives, nothing advanced. Nothing the Velthari shields could stop. 3 dropships crashed. The power node exploded. Seoul went dark for the VLT Hari. The same thing happened in Beijing, in Tokyo, in Moscow, in New York, in 100 cities across the world. The Velthari network was falling apart, but the most important work was happening deep underground. Dr. O. Kangmin had spent 6 months studying Velthari communication technology. It was incredibly advanced. It used something called quantum entanglement to send messages instantly across any distance, faster than light. Faster than anything humans had ever made. Now he understood it. Now he could use it. "The signal is ready," he told Admiral Taiwu through the secure channel. "I can send a message to our colonies, Mars, the asteroid belt, everyone." "Send it," said Taiwu. Kangmin activated the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then his screen lit up with responses. Mars colony, Titan station, the mining facilities in the asteroid belt. They were all still there. They were all still alive, and they had been busy. "Admiral," said Kangmin, his voice shaking with excitement, "you need to see this." He showed Taiwu the video feed from the asteroid belt. Hidden in the rocks, away from Velthari sensors, humanity had built a fleet. 300 ships. Not as big as Velthari ships, but armed with the new weapons. Tungsten cannons, kinetic missiles. Simple technology that the aliens had no defense against. "They are coming home," said Kangmin. "They will arrive in 3 months." Taiwu smiled for the first time in 6 months. "Then we need to keep fighting. We need to keep the Velthari busy until our fleet arrives." "Yes, sir. And Doctor?" "Send another message to the fleet. Tell them to bring everything? This ends now. While the ground war continued, a young pilot named Corporal Ru Jiwoo was about to make history. Jiwoo had been a cargo pilot before the invasion. She flew supplies between Earth and the Moon. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. Then the Valkyrie came and killed everyone she knew. Now she flew a different kind of ship. The engineers had taken a Valkyrie fighter and rebuilt it with human weapons. It was ugly, it was unstable, but it was fast and it could kill. "Control, this is Shadow 1, she said into her radio. "I have visual on the target." A Valkyrie patrol ship was flying over the Pacific Ocean. It was searching for resistance bases. Jiwoo had been sent to stop it. "Shadow 1, you are cleared to engage," said Control. Jiwoo pushed the throttle forward. Her ship shot through the clouds like a bullet. The Valkyrie ship did not see her coming. She lined up her shot and fired. The tungsten rounds hit the Valkyrie ship in the engines. It was not like the movies. There was no big explosion. The ship just stopped working. It fell from the sky and crashed into the ocean. "Control, target destroyed," said Jiwoo. There was silence on the radio, then cheering. This was the first time a human pilot had shot down a Valkyrie ship in atmosphere. The first time, but not the last. Jiwoo flew back to base feeling something strange. Pride, hope, the feeling that maybe, just maybe, they could win this war. The Valkyrie High Command was not happy. Supreme Commander Vexor stood in his ship above Earth and watched the reports come in. Power nodes destroyed. Communication towers offline. Patrols ambushed. A ship shot down by a human pilot. "This is impossible," he said. "These creatures were broken." "They surrendered." "They did not surrender," said his officer. "They retreated. They regrouped. They adapted." "Adapted?" Vexor made a sound of disgust. "They are primitives. They cannot adapt to us." "The evidence suggests otherwise." Vexor looked at the planet below. He had conquered 12 worlds himself. He had never seen anything like this. Other species gave up when they saw Valkyrie power. They accepted their fate. These humans did not. They kept fighting. They kept learning. Every time the Valkyrie found a way to stop them, they changed tactics. Every time the Valkyrie built a defense, the humans found a way around it. It was annoying. It was frustrating. It was almost impressive. "Send a message to the homeworld," said Vexor. "Request additional reinforcements, and tell them to hurry," his officer bowed. "Yes, Supreme Commander." Vexor looked at Earth again. He felt something he had not felt in a very long time. Not fear, not yet, but concern? Definitely concern. On the ground, General Yunji was planning the next phase. Operation Awakening was successful, she told her commanders through the secure network. "We have hurt them, but we have not beaten them. They still control the cities. They still have orbital superiority. We need to change that." "How?" "Ask the commander from Europe. We take back the cities, one by one, street by street." She pointed at the map. "We start with Seoul. If we can free Seoul, we can show the world it is possible. Other cities will follow." It was a huge task. Seoul was one of the most heavily defended Valkyrie positions on Earth. Taking it would cost many lives, but it would be worth it. "Begin preparations," said Unji. "We attack in 1 week." The commanders saluted and signed off. Yunji sat alone in her bunker and thought about what was coming. So many would die. So many already had, but she remembered something her grandmother had told her once. Koreans have been invaded many times. By empires and armies and tyrants. We are still here, they are not. The Valkyrie were just another invader. And like all the others, they would learn the same lesson. Humanity does not break, humanity remembers. And humanity fights back. In 3 months, the fleet would arrive. In 1 week, the battle for Seoul would begin. And somewhere in the darkness of space, a message was traveling to the Valkyrie homeworld. Reinforcements are needed. The humans are not like the others. The Supreme Commander of the Valkyrie Dominion read the message and felt the first hint of doubt. They had conquered 17 civilizations. They had never needed reinforcements before. What made these humans different? He would find out soon enough. 9 months after the invasion, the sky above Earth changed. The human fleet had arrived. Commander Lee Yuna stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Hammer of Earth, and looked at the planet below. She had left Earth as a cargo ship captain. She returned as a fleet commander with 300 warships behind her. "All ships report status," she said. The reports came in. "All ships ready. All weapons loaded. All crews prepared to die for their home." Yuna opened a channel to Earth. "Admiral Taiwu, this is Commander Lee Yuna. The fleet has arrived. What are your orders?" Taiwu's voice came through the speakers. He sounded tired but strong. "Commander, welcome home. Your orders are simple. Destroy every Velthari ship in orbit. Then support our ground forces. It is time to take back our planet." "Yes, sir." "With pleasure." Yuna closed the channel and looked at her crew. They were miners and cargo haulers and engineers. None of them were soldiers before the invasion. All of them were soldiers now. "You heard the Admiral," she said. "Let us show these aliens what humans do when you threaten our home. All ships attack." The Battle of Earth orbit began. The Velthari had 50 ships defending the planet. They were bigger than the human ships. More advanced. More powerful. But they had a problem. Their shields stopped energy weapons. They did not stop metal. The human ships fired thousands of tungsten projectiles. The Velthari shields flickered and died. Their armor cracked. Their ships broke apart. In the first hour, humanity destroyed 20 Velthari vessels. Supreme Commander Vexor watched from his flagship. His hands gripped his chair so hard the metal bent. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "How do they have a fleet? How do they have weapons that hurt us?" No one had an answer. The Velthari had ruled the stars for 10,000 years. They had never lost a battle. Now they were losing a war. "All ships, fall back to defensive positions," Vexor ordered. "And launch all fighters. Destroy that fleet." The Velthari fighters launched. Hundreds of them. They were fast and deadly and had killed millions of humans in the first days of the invasion. But humans had fighters too now. And leading them was Corporal Rujiwu. "All pilots, stay in formation," she said through her radio. "Use the buddy system. Watch each other's backs. And remember, they are not gods. They are just targets." The dogfight was brutal. Ships exploded. Pilots died. The sky above Earth was filled with fire and metal and death. Jiwu flew like she had been born in space. She shot down 3 Velthari fighters in the first minutes. Then 5 more. Her squadron followed her lead, taking down alien after alien. "Control, enemy fighter strength is at 50%, Jiwu reported. "We are winning." On the ground, the news spread fast. Humanity was winning in space. For the first time since the invasion, people looked up and felt hope instead of fear. General Yunji seized the moment. "All ground forces, this is General Shin. Our fleet is destroying the enemy in orbit. Now it is our turn. Attack, attack everywhere. Drive them off our planet." The ground war became a storm. In Seoul, Lieutenant Haijin led the assault on the main Velthari base. It was the most heavily defended position in the city. Walls, turrets, hundreds of Velthari soldiers. "Sergeant Kwon Dong-hee," she said into her radio, "you are cleared for the front assault." Dong-hee was a legend among the resistance. He was a big man with a bigger gun and absolutely no fear. He had killed more Velthari than anyone else in Asia. "Copy that, Lieutenant," he said. "Boys and girls, follow me." He led the charge right at the front gate. It was insane. It was suicidal. It was exactly what the Velthari did not expect. Dong-hee's team hit the gate with explosives. The wall crumbled. They poured through the gap, firing at everything that moved. The Velthari were surprised, confused, scared. Yes, scared. Because these humans should have been broken. These humans should have been slaves. Instead, they were inside the base, killing everything. Haijin brought the second wave through the side entrance. Then the third wave from underground. The Velthari were surrounded. The battle lasted 3 days. The resistance called it the 3-day hell. When it was over, the Velthari base was rubble. Seoul was free. Other cities followed: Beijing, Tokyo, New York, London, one by one. Humanity took back its home. In orbit, Commander Yuna finished the job. The last Valkyrie ship tried to escape. Her fleet surrounded it and tore it apart. Earth orbit is clear, she reported to Admiral Taiwu. We have won. But Taiwu knew the war was not over. The Valkyrie would send more ships. More soldiers. They would keep coming until one side was completely destroyed. He gathered his commanders for a meeting. General Yunji was there. Commander Yuna, Dr. Suman, Dr. Kangmin, the people who had saved humanity. We have freed Earth, Taiwu said. But the Valkyrie will return? Their reinforcement fleet is on the way. If we wait here, we will have to fight this war again. What do you suggest? Asked Yuna. Taiwu looked at Dr. Kangmin. Doctor, show them. Kangmin put a star map on the screen. One star was highlighted. This is the Valkyrie homeworld, he said. We intercepted the location from their communications. It is 40 light years away. You want to attack their homeworld? Asked Yunji. I want to end this war, said Taiwu. Forever. The room was quiet. It was a big decision. The biggest decision in human history. Dr. Suman spoke. Admiral, I have studied the Valkyrie extensively. They have conquered 17 civilizations. They have never shown mercy. They have never made peace. She paused. If we let them rebuild, they will come back. Maybe not next year. Maybe not in 10 years. But they will come back. And next time, they will not underestimate us. So we destroy them? Asked Yuna. Completely? Their whole species? No, said Taiwu. We are not them. We do not commit genocide. He stood up and looked at each of them. We go to their world. We destroy their military. We take away their ability to hurt anyone ever again. And then we leave them with a choice. Live in peace or die in war. And if they choose war, Taiwu's face was hard. Then we finish it. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would take the war to the Valkyrie homeworld that night. Taiwu walked through the ruins of Seoul. The city was destroyed. Buildings were rubble. Streets were craters. But people were coming back. They were cleaning, rebuilding, living. A little girl ran past him, chasing a dog. She was laughing. Taiwu watched her and felt the weight of his decision. He was about to take humanity to another world to fight another battle. More people would die. More families would be broken. But he thought about the 17 civilizations the Valkyrie had destroyed. Billions of lives. Entire species. Gone forever, he would not let Earth become the 18th. Admiral? It was Heijin. She had followed him outside. Lieutenant, you should be resting. So should you. She stood beside him and looked at the ruined city. We really won, didn't we? We won this battle. The war is not over, no. But it will be. She looked at him with fierce eyes. We will go to their world. We will break their ships and their weapons and their will. And then we will come home. Taiwu nodded. Yes, we will. Above them, the human fleet was preparing. 300 ships that would carry humanity's answer to the Valkyrie. You attacked our home. You killed our people. You tried to harvest us like animals. Now we are coming for you. 1 year after the invasion, the human fleet entered Valkyrie space. Admiral Yun Taiwu stood on the bridge of the Hammer of Earth and watched the alien star grow closer. Around him, 300 ships flew in perfect formation. Behind him, billions of humans waited for news. Admiral, we are entering the Valkyrie home system, said the navigation officer. Slow to combat speed, Taiwu ordered. All ships prepare for engagement. The Valkyrie knew they were coming. Their sensors had detected the human fleet days ago. Now they were waiting. The Valkyrie homeworld was beautiful in a cold way. Gray and silver, covered in metal cities that stretched across entire continents. Orbiting the planet were hundreds of defense platforms and warships. The largest fleet the Valkyrie had ever assembled. A communication signal came in. Taiwu accepted it. The face of the Valkyrie Supreme Ruler appeared on screen. He was old, even for his species, with deep lines in his gray skin. His black eyes were filled with hate. "Humans," he said, "you have made a terrible mistake coming here. You should have stayed on your little planet and accepted your fate." "Our fate was to be harvested," said Taiwu. "We chose a different fate. You chose death. We chose freedom." Taiwu leaned forward. "I am giving you one chance. Surrender, disarm your fleet, destroy your military. Promise to never threaten another species again. Do this and we will leave you in peace." The Supreme Ruler laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You are 300 ships against 1,000. You have primitive weapons and primitive minds. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. We do not surrender to animals." Taiwu nodded slowly. "I thought you would say that, but I had to try. Humanity does not start wars. We finish them." He cut the communication and looked at his crew. "All ships, attack." The Battle of the Velthari homeworld began. The Velthari came at the human fleet with everything they had. Warships, fighters, orbital platforms, weapons that could crack moons, but humans had learned. They had adapted. They had improved. Commander Yuna led the main assault. Her ships targeted the Velthari command vessels with concentrated tungsten fire. The alien shields held for a moment, then failed. One command ship exploded. Then another, Corporal Jiwoo, led the fighter squadrons. They were outnumbered 3-1. It did not matter. Human pilots were better. They flew together, fought together, died together, and they took 5 Velthari fighters for every one they lost. Captain Haijin commanded a strike cruiser. She drove straight into the enemy formation, drawing fire from the bigger ships. It was dangerous and crazy and exactly what she wanted. "Come on," she said, watching the enemy target her. "Follow me." They followed. They chased her. And while they were distracted, Sergeant Danghee's assault ships hit them from behind. The Velthari had numbers. Humanity had teamwork. Dr. Kang Min watched from the science vessel. He was not a soldier, but he had a weapon too. He had studied the Velthari communication network. Now he used it against them. "Jamming their signals," he reported. "Their ships cannot coordinate." Suddenly, the Velthari fleet was blind and deaf. Ships crashed into each other. Fighters flew into their own fire. Platforms shot at nothing. Within 3 hours, half the Velthari fleet was destroyed. Within 6 hours, it was over. The human fleet surrounded the Velthari homeworld. Below them, 1 billion aliens looked up in fear. They had never been invaded. They had never been conquered. They had never felt what their victims felt. Now they did. Admiral Taiwu opened a channel to the planet. "This is Admiral Yoon Taiwu of the human fleet. Your military is destroyed. Your defenses are gone. You are at our mercy." He let that sink in for a moment. "We could do to you what you have done to 17 other civilizations. We could bomb your cities, kill your people, burn your world until nothing remains." The Velthari listened in silence. "But we are not you. We are humans. And humans do not commit genocide." Taiwu's voice was hard but steady. "We will destroy your shipyards, your weapons factories, your military academies. We will take away your ability to make war. You will never threaten another species again." "And if we resist?" asked the Supreme Ruler. "Then we will finish what we started. The choice is yours." There was a long silence. Then the Supreme Ruler appeared on screen again. He looked old, tired, beaten. "We accept your terms," he said. "Good, one more thing." Taiwu gestured, and another human appeared on screen. She was tall and dignified, with calm eyes. "Ambassador Che-Yong." "This is Ambassador said Taiwu. "She will deliver a message. Not just to you. To the entire galaxy." Che-Yong stepped forward. She spoke clearly and slowly, knowing that countless species were listening. "I am Ambassador Che-Yong, representative of humanity. 1 year ago, the Velthari attacked our home without warning. They killed millions of our people. They planned to harvest our entire species." She paused. "They failed. We fought back. We freed our world. And we came here to ensure they could never do this again." She looked directly into the camera. To all the civilizations watching this message, humanity offers friendship to those who come in peace. We offer trade, cooperation, and mutual respect. We want to explore the stars alongside you. We want to learn from you and share what we know. Her voice became harder. But to those who come with violence, we offer this warning. We remember our dead. We do not forgive attacks on our people. And we will never ever give up. She stepped back. Taiwu took over. The Valkyrie Dominion is finished. Their empire is gone. They will live on this one world under our watch. If they ever try to rebuild their military, we will return. He ended the transmission. The human fleet spent 2 weeks destroying the Valkyrie military infrastructure, shipyards, factories, weapons stores, everything that could be used to make war. They were thorough but not cruel. They did not kill civilians. They did not burn cities. They were better than their enemies. That was the point. When it was done, Admiral Taiwu took one last look at the Valkyrie homeworld. Human ships now orbited the planet, not as conquerors but as wardens. They would stay until they were sure the Valkyrie would never threaten anyone again. Hygiene found him on the observation deck. She looked tired. They all did. It is over, she said. Double quotes. Yes, it is. What now? Taiwu looked at the stars. We go home. We rebuild. We heal, he turned to her. And we make sure this never happens again. To us or anyone else, you think other species will accept us? Some will. Some will not. But they will all respect us. He almost smiled. We earned that. On the Valkyrie homeworld, a child walked with an elder through the empty streets. The sky was full of human ships. The child had never seen such a thing. What are they? The child asked. The elder looked up. He remembered when the Valkyrie were masters of the galaxy, when they feared nothing and no one. That time was over. They are humans, he said. Are they going to hurt us? The elder thought about the question. The humans could have destroyed them, could have wiped out their entire species. Instead, they offered a choice, submission or destruction. And when the Valkyrie chose submission, the humans kept their word. No, said the elder. They are not going to hurt us. As long as we do not hurt them, what if we do? The elder shook his head slowly. Then they will come back. And next time there will be no choice. The child looked at the ships above. They are not like us, are they? No, the elder put his hand on the child's shoulder. They are not like anyone. They are something new, something we should never have awakened. Far away, the human fleet began its journey home. 300 ships that had crossed the stars to protect their world. They had won. They had survived. They had proven that humanity would never be prey. Admiral Taiwu watched Earth appear on his screen. Blue and white and beautiful. Home, he thought about Captain Park Do-yeon, who died in the first battle sending data that helped them win the war. He thought about all the people who died fighting for their home. Millions of them. Heroes, everyone. We did it, he said quietly. We survived. Commander Yuna stood beside him. We did more than survive, Admiral. We showed the galaxy what we are. And what are we? She smiled. It was a fierce smile. A proud smile. We are human. We fight. We adapt. We never give up. She looked at Earth. And we always remember. The fleet entered Earth orbit. Below them, people cheered. The war was over. Humanity had won, and across the galaxy, every species that heard the story learned the same lesson. Do not attack Earth. Do not threaten humans. Do not make them your enemy, because humans do not lose. They do not surrender. They do not forget they win. Always.